welcome to our next episode of the CA podcast. I'm your host, Grace Engel.
Juliana Webster.
And Sarah Offhouse. And today we have two guests joining us.
Francine Gonzalez.
And Carlos Perez.
Okay, so today we're going to be discussing mental health, and it's quite an important topic because I think that it gets neglected pretty often. We kind of choose physical health to talk about rather than mental health, and we kind of forget that it's there. So let's start off with this first question. How do you guys deal with mental health? What do you guys do to help your brain relax a little bit?
Usually when I get really overwhelmed with life and school and whatnot, I really just like to take some time for myself. Whether that's reading or finding a TV show to watch or whatnot, or spending time with people that I care about. I just find a way to not think about school and then come back to it once I've refreshed and reorganized my mind and whatnot. And that way I get less overwhelmed and I have a little bit of time for myself in between everything that's going on too.
What I do, I probably take a nap, sleep, forget about everything I have for the week. I'd also take some time to just breathe in and out, kind of just relax myself. And
There's multiple things that I like to do, kind of just depends on the day. I'll either read or I'll journal, or I even like crocheting just because it's something to do with my hands and it just makes me forget anything else that's happening. But like Francine said, just taking time to just breathe, close your eyes even for 5 minutes, and it just helps everything else to kind of go away.
Personally, I just lay on my bed and stare at the roof. Sometimes I open up my computer, play a game, specifically Roblox. And I have a lot of time on there because I really don't like the workload, so I blow it off until later.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I feel like this year the workload has been pretty difficult for me to manage. So I just kind of like to forget about it, and I'll just go in my room, lay on my bed, put some cozy lighting on, put on my headphones all the way up, and listen to music for however long, and just kind of stare at the ceiling. Because I think that whenever you want to take care of your mental health, you should really disconnect reality and just kind of submerge yourself in tranquility and just relax and breathe and not think about anything, because your brain is constantly moving, you have to shut it off.
Even though you might be avoiding something you should be thinking about, but you want to avoid it, so you do something else, and that's good, but then after a while you do need to face what you're avoiding.
Yeah, and another thing too is it gets really hard to balance schoolwork. Let's say if you have a really long assignment, you just don't want to do it. But I feel like there are ways that you can kind of get around that, if you change up your study habits a little bit. So something that I used to do a lot, I don't really do it anymore, but it was the Pomodoro method, because it gives you that break. Let's say I'm working for 45 minutes and then I give myself a 10-minute break. I feel like that 10-minute break is so rejuvenating, and then I can just do whatever and go back to it, because my mind is not really constantly working. So sometimes if you need to take a break in the middle of working, that's okay.
I think another thing that's really important to look at and examine when you're working on those long assignments is try not to procrastinate, because procrastination is so...
Time management.
Time management's really important, and I procrastinate just about everything, and it just ends up making me more stressed.
Because things can build up really, really fast. And so you think oh yeah, I'll be fine, I'll just do it all later. And then you're doing 8 hours worth of work in one day. And that's way more stressful than doing
and
just
it's not
one
even your
assignment
best
a day.
work.
And it's not even your best work, exactly. And so it's you're missing all these little small things, and you're getting points deducted because you're trying to just get it done as fast as possible.
Don't leave it till the last minute.
I
Get
did
it
that.
done.
I did that.
If as long as you organize what you have, and you kind of give yourself little reminders here and there, then you're not going to have all this buildup of work, and the stress won't be as much. And even when you get into senior year, you're going to be doing college applications, looking for scholarships, filling out your SSAR, CSS, Spark, all these things, and there's deadlines. And if you're waiting, then you're gonna be so stressed, and it's not even like you can just avoid it, because then you're not gonna go anywhere. So I think like you really have to understand how to balance work, school, home, and your mental health. Otherwise, I don't know.
And there's already
Very
the
happy.
stress of deciding which college you want.
Mhm.
You don't want to stress about applying to them either.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And you also have to kind of stress about keeping your grades up to get into the college you want to go to. So that's why I think, especially with like the scheduling, the time management, keeping a planner is so important with all your deadlines and whatever else you have to do. Like my planner is very full at the moment, but checking those assignments off is very rewarding in the end.
Personally, I don't have a planner. I just write what I need to do on my hand. Just have ink on my hand.
You just don't wash your hands.
I do wash my hands. It's very
It
tough
stays?
ink. Yeah, it's very tough ink. I make sure it doesn't go away. Don't worry, guys. I'm very clean.
Another question too, like how important do you guys think education about mental health is?
Really important.
Really, I think it's not talked about enough. And especially teachers who are the ones giving you all this work and making your workload very heavy don't focus on mental health enough.
Yeah.
And they don't see how some like these 8 assignments a week or so many assignments a week really affects you as a teenager.
It's important too for it to be talked about at school, because some parents and some families don't think that mental health exists, and it very much does. And so when you're learning about it at school, it becomes real, and you just kind of begin to think about it in the back of your mind, like, oh, maybe I should start taking care of myself, and maybe I should start learning how to balance different things so that way it's not all piling up and then it stresses you out. So I feel like schools should have some sort of thing to teach students how to manage their time.
Yeah.
What are some tips for self-care? What does self-care even look like? What even is self-care? Like, what does that mean? Taking care of yourself. Does that mean just going to bed? Or does it mean taking time and like thinking about how you've been thinking and changing it?
And I think when it's spoken about more to younger people, it kind of takes a weight off your shoulders knowing that there's like a safe space for you to talk about a lot of things. Because like you said, in some cultures it's very much like, it's in your head, don't worry, just push it to the back of your mind, you're fine.
Yeah.
But like you're not fine. So instead of pushing it to the back of your mind, kind of like the Inside Out 2 movie, instead of doing that, like it's good to talk about it. So I did want to mention the Broward College. If you're a full-time or a part-time student, they offer you 6 free therapy sessions per year. So it's really helpful.
And what I think also should be talked about is it's okay to go to therapy. You're not weak if you go. You're not weak if you think about going. I went to therapy, and I'm not a weak person. It didn't make me any less of a person because I went and talked to someone about how I felt. And I think it's very important, and I think that having someone who is a safe space to talk to, and they know a lot more than you do and have been in a lot of the situations that you have. Maybe not exactly the same, but school-wise at least, you could go talk to an adult. And I think that having somebody who's been through similar situations is such an important thing, because being able to relate to someone is so important, because then you feel a lot less alone in what you're going through. That's like a support system is so important, whether it is a therapist or it's a trusted adult or if it's your friends. But like we said before, your friends are not your therapists. So if you are genuinely struggling with your mental health, please go speak to someone. I feel like that's very important.
And you say that, and it reminds me of when I took psych, and there was like, I forgot the name of it, but the idea is that a lot of people believe that their struggles are something that they go through alone and nobody else has the same struggles, but it's actually false, because a lot of people usually go through the same things, and you can actually ask your friend or ask somebody on the street, and they probably went through the same thing.
Yeah.
They probably went through the same
And
thing.
you wouldn't know unless people spoke about it.
Exactly.
Yes.
People don't talk to each other anymore. I feel like a lot of our communication goes through social media and it goes through the phone. And I feel like just having a genuine interaction with someone like we are right now, or like just sitting at lunch and talking to your friends, rather than putting on a YouTube video or a
Right.
show or a movie while you're eating, or just going and finding someone to talk to, like whether it's a stranger or a friend, or at CA, coming to the CA office, talking to Miss Moore, Miss C, or your professors. I feel like just having a genuine connection with someone is not common lately, and I feel like if you just really put your phone down and just went out and spoke to someone and had a conversation, you could learn a lot more about yourself, about other people, about different mindsets, different ideas, and having that makes you smarter and it makes you a better person, because being able to understand different perspectives is a type of intelligence, and that not many people have these days, because it's not a very intelligent way of thinking, and being open to new things is what we should focus on doing.
So I think that's a wrap for this episode. So to end things on a little bit of a higher note, we do have some quotes, some positive quotes. So one here is from Johnny Depp. It says, "Breathe, it's only a bad day, not a bad life." So if you wake up in the morning and you're having a bad day, it's just today. Tomorrow's a new day.
I like this one from Ed Petson. Just one small positive thought in the morning can change your whole day. Because actually, the first few thoughts that you have in the morning can shape your whole day. A lot of people wake up and like open their phone and scroll, and that really negatively impacts your day.
Mhm.
And a lot of people skip breakfast too, which is also negatively impacts your day, ruins your mood, and can make your day look a lot worse than it actually is.
Give yourself permission to unplug and regroup without feeling guilty. You can't be there for others if you don't take care of yourself first. It's my unknown.
Okay, guys. So
That's a wrap.
that's a wrap.
College days, oh each year, best of times so crystal